Imagine a bomb that doesn't crack a bunker open, but excavates the earth itself, drilling through 200 feet of solid granite and reinforced concrete with sequential kinetic pulses until there is nothing left to protect. Not in theory, not in a simulation. Over the skies of Iran on June 22, 2025. This isn't about a bigger bomb. It's about making the concept of a sanctuary obsolete. When 7B-2 Spirit stealth bombers can carry Boeing GBU-57A/B Massive Ordnance Penetrators and strike the same coordinates in sequence, turning buried rock into a precision excavation site, depth stops being a defense, and concealment becomes a targeting solution. This is the Boeing GBU-57A/B Massive Ordnance Penetrator, centerpiece of a system of systems architecture that has rewritten the rules of deterrence. June 22, 2025, 2:47 hours local time, Fordow Uranium Enrichment Plant, Qom Province, Iran. 7B-2 Spirit bombers from Whiteman Air Force Base completed an 18-hour round-trip sortie. 125 aircraft in the air simultaneously. 14 GBU-57A/B rounds expended. 30 Tomahawk missiles launched simultaneously from a submarine in the Arabian Sea. The Fordow facility, buried under more than 200 feet of granite, designed to survive any conventional weapon in any nation's arsenal, was rendered inoperable. The world called it Operation Midnight Hammer. The strategic community called it the moment deterrence theory was rewritten. For 40 years, Iran's strategy was vertical. Go deeper, pour more concrete, stack more granite. The S-300 PMU-2 long-range missile batteries protected the airspace above. Russia's Resonance NEVHF radar claimed to track American F-35s near the Iranian border. And China's YLC-8B meter-wave anti-stealth systems were being integrated into Iran's layered air defense network. The Fordow Enrichment Plant, buried under a mountain in Qom Province, was Iran's crown jewel. 200 feet of rock above it, a mountain around it, a credible air defense envelope protecting it. The math seemed to work. That math died on June 22, 2025. The answer is a system of systems architecture built around the GBU-57A/B and the most powerful integrated air and naval armada the United States has deployed since the 2003 invasion of Iraq. The GBU-57A/B Massive Ordnance Penetrator weighs 30,000 pounds. Its predecessor, the GBU-28, weighed 5,000. That's not an upgrade. That's a different category of weapon. The MOP uses a high-strength steel alloy casing engineered to survive the kinetic violence of hypersonic ground impact. Inside the fusing architecture sits the Large Penetrator Smart Fuse, a system sophisticated enough to count void spaces as the weapon drills downward, distinguishing between protective rock layers and the actual mission space of an underground laboratory before detonating. But the weapon that changed the calculus wasn't the bomb itself, it was the tactic. 12 GBU-57A/B rounds drop sequentially onto the same Fordow coordinates, each successive weapon striking deeper into the cavity excavated by its predecessor until the facility ceased to exist. Not breached, excavated. A B-2 Spirit carries two of these weapons simultaneously, flying from Missouri to Iran and back without landing, eliminating the diplomatic leverage that Jordan and Saudi Arabia, both of whom declined overflight rights, might otherwise provide. On the maritime front, the Flight 3 Arleigh Burke-class destroyer, led by the USS Jack H. Lucas DDG-125, represents a paradigm shift in what a surface combatant can see and kill. The AN/SPY-6V1 air and missile defense radar uses gallium nitride semiconductor technology to deliver 30 times the sensitivity of the SPY-1 radar carried by Flight 2A predecessors. 30 times. Simultaneous tracking of ballistic missiles, sea-skimming cruise missiles from Iranian Paykop-3 fast attack craft, and low radar cross-section drone swarms, all in the same engagement window, coordinated through Baseline 10 Aegis combat management. The Flight 3 electrical plant was upgraded from a 450-volt system to a 4,160-volt architecture specifically to power this radar. The Navy didn't build a new ship. They pushed the Arleigh-Burke hull to the edge of what physics allows, and it was enough. Pair that radar with the F-35A and F-35C in Block 4 configuration. Lockheed Martin's Sidekick internal weapons rack modification allows both variants to carry 6 AIM-120 AMRAAMs internally, up from the baseline 4, without compromising the low observable profile that makes the aircraft survivable against Iranian S-300PM U-2 batteries. That is a 50% increase in stealth air-to-air capacity per airframe. When China's J-20 Mighty Dragon, optimized for high-speed interception with PL-15 missiles that may outrange the AIM-120D, threatens American tanker and AWACS aircraft sustaining regional operations, that 50% matters. Block 4 also integrates the AGM-88G Advanced Anti-Radiation Guided Missile Extended Range, the AARGM-ER, directly into the internal bay, a radar-killing missile fired from a stealth platform, making the Iranian Air Defense Network's own emissions the homing beacon for its destruction. Then there is the layer the world has not fully processed, the Defense Innovation Unit's Autonomous Vehicle Orchestrator. In January 2026, a Swarm Forge experiment using Auterion software demonstrated a 4-drone formation simultaneously striking 3 simulated armored targets, directed entirely by voice command, a single operator issuing instructions like "place crafts 1 through 5 in echelon left," translating instantly into coordinated machine action. The Pentagon has committed a $100 million prize competition to accelerate this toward deployment. The IRGC built its swarm doctrine around hundreds of Siraj-1 fast attack craft and new air defense small boats with vertical launch systems for Nawab missiles, assuming a human reaction time ceiling. The AI orchestrator eliminates that ceiling. These systems have operated under real stress. The USS Gerald R. Ford, diverted to the Mediterranean in February 2026, is approaching a 300-day deployment, pushing crew endurance and maintenance readiness to the limit. The F-35 continues to face cooling issues in the Persian Gulf's high-temperature environment, limiting sustained radar and electronic warfare output. The AN/ALQ-249 next-generation jammer mid-band pod on EA-18G Growlers, which provides cognitive jamming that adapts to Iranian radar changes in real time, has faced digital model validation shortfalls that reduced testing confidence. These are not fatal flaws. They are honest constraints in a system operating at the absolute edge of its design envelope. And they matter precisely because the margin against Iran's Russian and Chinese-supplied air defenses is measured in seconds and signal-to-noise ratios. Then came the moment everything converged. June 22, 2025, at 2:47 hours, Fordow, Iran. 7 B-2 Spirit bombers threaded through S-300 PMU-2 engagement envelopes and Resonance NE radar coverage, undetected until the first weapon struck. 12G BU-57A/B rounds dropped sequentially onto the same point, each one striking deeper into the cavity its predecessor carved. Simultaneously, the USS Georgia launched 30 BGM-109 Tomahawk missiles at Isfahan and Natanz, suppressing Iranian command and control before a coordinated response could form. 125 aircraft, 0 American aircraft lost. The Fordow Uranium Enrichment Plant, the crown jewel of the Iranian nuclear program, was off the table. Chinese defense analysts noted the drill tactic raised direct questions about the survivability of their own hardened facilities. Iran's Supreme National Security Council immediately began reassessing regime survival calculus. After Midnight Hammer, the Air Force issued a sole source contract to Boeing for over $100 million to replenish GBU-57A/B stocks. Raytheon Technologies entered 5 landmark framework agreements with the Department of War, targeting 1,900+ AMRAAMs annually, 1,000+ Tomahawks annually, and 500+ SM-6 interceptors annually, a shift from just-in-time to sustained wartime production. The B-21 Raider, now entering service, is designed from the outset to carry the next-generation Penetrator, an approximately 22,000-pound MOP successor with broader platform compatibility. ensuring the decapitation architecture outlasts the B-2 fleet. The architecture of the Armada isn't a response to a crisis. It is the crisis, made permanent. The name B-2 Spirit was never arbitrary. A spirit is present but unseen, operating in the gap between detection and confirmation. Midnight Hammer validated that name literally. The aircraft went in, struck, and returned before the world knew it had moved. The Fordow Mountain didn't see the Spirit coming. It simply ceased to protect what it was built to protect. The most powerful American armada deployed since 2003 isn't defined by hull count or airframe tonnage. It's defined by a deliberate strategic choice to make geological depth irrelevant, air defense density a targeting opportunity, and swarm tactics solvable by machine intelligence faster than humans can launch them. When Iranian planners now calculate the survivability of remaining hardened assets, they calculate against a weapon that excavates rather than penetrates. Depth isn't protection. Depth is a targeting solution, and no adversary on Earth is yet prepared to live in a world where that is true. Was Operation Midnight Hammer the right call, or did it make the region permanently less stable? Type strike or diplomacy in the comments. The answer shapes everything that comes next. This is DIB Dispatch, where billion-dollar projects meet battlefield reality.